damn weird. The Plesiosaur. Most commonly referred to option for lake monsters, etc. Plesiosauria are an order of Mesozoic marine reptiles. Plesiosaurs appeared in the latest Triassic period, possibly in the Eurasian stage about 203 million years ago. They become especially common during the Jurassic period, thriving until their disappearance due to the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event at the end of the Cretaceous period, about 66 million years ago. They had a worldwide oceanic distribution. Plesiosaurs are among the first fossil reptiles discovered in the beginning of the 19th century. Scientists realized how distinctive their build was, and they were named as a separate order in 1835, the first Plesiosaurian genus. The eponymous Plesiosaurus was named in 1821. Since then, more than 100 valid species have been described. In the early 21st century, the number of discoveries had increased, leading to an improved understanding of their anatomy and relationship and the way of life. Plesiosaurs had a broad, flat body and a short tail. Their limbs were evolved into 4 long flippers, which were powered by strong muscles attached to wide bony plates formed by the shoulder girdle and the pelvis. The flippers made a flying movement through the water. Plesiosaurs breathed air and bore live young. There were indications that they were warm-blooded. It has been suggested the legends of sea serpents and modern sightings of supposed monsters in lakes or the sea could be explained by survival of the plesiosaur into modern times. The cryptozoological proposal has been rejected by the scientific community at large, which is considered to be based on fantasy and the pseudoscience. Purported plesiosaur carcasses have been shown to be partially decomposed corpses of basking sharks instead. While the Loch Ness Monster is often described as looking like a plesiosaur, it also often described as looking completely different. A number of reasons have been presented for why a plesiosaurian identity is unlikely. This includes the assumption that the water in the loch is too cold for sake of argument, presumably cold-blooded reptile to be able to survive easily. The assumption that air-breathing animals would be easy to see whenever they appeared on the surface to breathe. The fact that the loch is too small and contains insufficient food to be able to support a breeding colony of large animals. And finally, the fact that the lake has only been formed 10,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age, while the latest fossil appearances of plesiosaurs date to over 66 million years ago. Frequent explanations for the sightings include waves, floating inanimate objects, tricks of the light, swimming known animals, and practical jokes. Nevertheless, in the popular imagination, the plesiosaur have come to be identified with the monster of the Loch. This has had the advantage of making the group better known to the general public, but the disadvantage is that people have trouble taking the subject seriously, forcing paleontologists to explain time and again that plesiosaurs really did exist and are not creatures of myth and fantasy. One thing I'd like to say about the plesiosaur is even if I have to agree that I don't think it would be that, simply because the environment has changed. So since the environment has changed and the needs and how it needs to survive have also changed, it in itself would had to have evolved into something else. Not saying there can't be something to these lake monsters as a descendant of, but it is more impossible to think that it survived and had not changed. We're not talking the alligator or the crocodile, who really, its environment has not altered much over the millions. But the point is, something larger like that does have a change in environment because of us. Just like the number of alligators and crocodiles nowadays are finally being affected by us. If it exists in any way, it would have to evolve into something else. But as a plesiosaur, unaltered, through time, all that time, not likely. Thank you. And that's just my opinion.